In the cold, shadowed walls of the Conciergerie prison, the last queen of France, Marie Antoinette, sat bruised not only by chains, but by venomous lies weaponized to strip away her dignity. Behind the iron bars, where whispers carried threats of unspeakable evils, a cruel strategy began to take shape, a calculated form of sexual punishment aimed not with flesh, but with venomous slander. The torment was not merely the solitude of her confinement, but the corruption of her son's innocence, a child coerced to accuse his own mother and aunt of incest and debauchery. These vile fabrications were not meant to prove guilt, but to crush a queen's spirit long before the final, merciless descent of the executioner's blade. Beneath the fabric of whispered plots, a secret message slipped inside a carnation, carrying with it a fragile promise of escape. Yet betrayal turned that delicate flower into a herald of doom, and the queen's desperate denials were met only with mockery and relentless interrogation. The line between political spectacle and sexual degradation blurred into one, a theater of cruelty designed to strip her not just of her crown, but of her very womanhood and dignity. What followed was a poison darker than any blade, a calculated assault upon her honor, a fleshless torment that haunted her every breath in those final fading days. This is the tale of a queen's fall, not merely from power, but from humanity itself, beneath the merciless eyes of revolution. Hold on tight, because what you're about to witness is no mere history lesson. This is a blood-chilling plunge into the raw, savage heart of the French Revolution, where a queen's crown shattered beneath the guillotine's steel, and her honor was torn apart by the most depraved lies imaginable. Wait. Before we dive chapter by chapter into this storm of betrayal, imprisonment, twisted plots, and execution, don't you dare blink, don't you dare scroll away. This is the untold nightmare of Marie Antoinette, packed with shocks that will grip your soul and leave you breathless. But first things first, subscribe right now. If you crave documentaries that hit like a thunderbolt, ones that expose the forbidden truths hidden in history's shadows, smash that button, or you'll miss the twists that make empires crumble. Drop a comment below. Marie Antoinette's revenge starts now. Hit it hard, share with your crew, and turn on notifications, because we're unleashing Chapter 1 next. And trust me, once the monarchy falls, there's no turning back. Dawn breaks over Paris on August 10th, 1792, a city seething like a cauldron ready to boil over. The Tuileries Palace, once a glittering fortress of royal splendor, now trembles under the weight of 20,000 enraged revolutionaries. Sans-culottes, fédérés from Marseille, and National Guardsmen turned traitors, their pikes gleaming with bloodlust. Inside, Queen Marie Antoinette clutches her children, little Louis Charles, pale and wide-eyed, Princess Marie-Thérèse, and the baby Duke of Normandy, huddled in the king's apartments as cannon fire rattles the windows like thunder from hell. King Louis XV, that weak-willed shadow of a monarch, orders his 900 Swiss guards to stand down. But chaos erupts. Revolutionaries swarm the gardens, slaughtering guards in a frenzy of bayonets and musket balls. Over 600 Swiss lives are hacked apart in minutes, their white uniforms stained crimson on the palace steps. The royal family flees to the Legislative Assembly seeking sanctuary, but it is a trap. The mob's roar echoes. No more king! Death to the Austrian whore! By nightfall, they are arrested, dragged through jeering crowds to the grim tower of the Temple, a medieval prison where royal silk meets cold stone. Marie Antoinette's heart shatters as guards shove them into cells reeking of damp and despair, the first crack in the monarchy's facade, unleashing the revolutionary beast that will devour them all. Fear grips her like iron chains, while uncertainty whispers of trials, separations, and the blade. The air thickens with suspense. This is no mere siege. It is the death knell of an era, hurtling France toward radical terror. Power crumbles, and the Queen's world fractures forever. The tower of the temple looms like a medieval beast over Paris, its ancient stones swallowing the royal family whole after the Tuileries bloodbath. Marie Antoinette, once draped in Versailles silk, now huddles with King Louis XVI and their children, 8-year-old Louis Charles, 14-year-old Marie-Thérèse, and toddler Louis Charles the Younger, in cramped, rat-infested cells lit by flickering oil lamps, the air thick with damp rot and the distant chants of revolutionary mobs. Food arrives moldy and sparse, black bread, thin soup, no luxuries for the Austrian wolf they curse from the streets below. January 21st, 1793. Guillotine blades fall on Louis XVI in the Place de la Révolution, his head held high by executioner Sanson as 20,000 spectators roar their approval, severing the family irrevocably. Marie Antoinette collapses in agony, her screams echoing through the prison as guards mock her widowhood. Then the knife twists deeper. On July 3rd, Antoine Simon, a brutal cobbler turned revolutionary guardian, rips 8-year-old Louis Charles from her arms for re-education, drilling him in anti-royal hatred, parading the boy as a puppet king, while subjecting him to isolation, beatings, and psychological torment that warps his innocent mind forever. The Queen's world unravels in sobs. Marie-Thérèse clings to her, but isolation gnaws, constant guards peering through peepholes, no privacy for bodily needs, jeers of whore hurled through the doors. By August 2, 1793, they are torn apart again. Marie Antoinette, frail and feverish, is chained and carted alone to the Conciergerie, Paris's dripping dungeon of death row. There, in a 16-foot cell under endless watch, she endures filth, meager rations of bread and water, lice crawling her skin, and the psychological crush of mockery. Revolutionaries whispering of her debauched past, foreshadowing the sexual horrors to come. Suspense coils. Separation breeds despair, priming the Queen for trials that will weaponize her own flesh and blood against her. Deep in the Conciergerie's suffocating gloom, late August 1793, Marie Antoinette claws at survival in her barren cell. No pen, no light, just the relentless eyes of gendarmes boring through every crack. Enter royalist sympathizers, the dashing Alexandre Goncet de Rougeville, disguised as an inspector, and the corrupt guard Jean-Baptiste Michonis, both plotting her daring flight from this antechamber of death. Tension crackles as Rougeville drops a bouquet of carnations at her feet during a routine visit. The petals conceal a secret note, carrying promises of rescue amid Paris streets teeming with spies. Her pulse races. With no ink, she pricks a desperate reply on scrap paper using a pin. I am watched. I neither write nor speak. I count on you. I will come. The message slips out via Michonis, who swears loyalty, whispering of horses waiting beyond the gates. Suspense peaks. An order arrives for her transfer. Guards distracted by cards. The Queen steels herself for freedom's grasp. But twist. Betrayal strikes like lightning. Spies intercept the plot. Michonis cracks under torture, confessing all as the blade looms for him, too. Rougeville vanishes into shadows, his gallant facade shattered. Interrogations savage her. Officials hurl accusations of treasonous escape, stripping her dignity further with endless scrutiny. Even as she washes, eyes invade her naked vulnerability, amplifying the psychological chains. Publicly, she denies involvement with icy resolve. I know nothing of this madness. Yet the failure seals her doom. Plotters like Michonis are executed in bloody spectacle, their heads a grim warning. Hope withers. The revolution's noose tightens, hurtling her toward a trial where sexual venom awaits. October 14th, 1793. The Revolutionary Tribunal's chamber pulses with bloodthirsty anticipation. Smoke-choked air thick as 500 spectators jeer from galleries, while prosecutors like Fouquier-Tinville unleash a torrent of charges. Treason, bleeding France's treasury dry, conspiring with Austria to drown the revolution in royal blood. Marie Antoinette, gaunt in a simple white dress, her once golden hair cropped short, stands unbowed before the mob's hatred, facing forged letters and witness lies, painting her as the revolution's puppet master. Then the unthinkable twist drops like a guillotine. Jacques Hébert, venomous journalist, drags her 8-year-old son Louis Charles to the stand, brainwashed pawn of the cobbler Simon, forcing the terrified boy to recite horrors. My mother and aunt slept naked together. She taught me filthy pleasures. Incestuous nights where she aroused me with her hands and body. The courtroom erupts in gasps and outrage. Mothers weep, rejecting the depraved spectacle as prosecutors wield sexual punishment to eviscerate her honor, branding the Austrian whore a corrupter of innocence. Every lurid detail, forced confessions of orgiastic rituals, genital caresses, strips her soul bare, a psychological rape broadcast to justify her end. Defiance ignites. Marie Antoinette wheels on her accusers, voice steel amid tears. Nature refuses such crimes to mothers. I appeal to all mothers here. Can you believe this? Public revulsion surges. Hébert's charges crumble under scrutiny, dropped amid chaos, but political treason sticks like poison. For 2 days, she endures cross-examinations, shredding her legacy. Revealing revolutionary brutality's depths, using child abuse lies as erotic weaponry. Bravery shines through injustice. The Queen's dignity endures, but the blade beckons. Dawn pierces the Conciergerie on October 16, 1793. Marie Antoinette, condemned at 4 a.m., faces her final ritual. Hair sheared brutally short by trembling hands, wrists bound in coarse rope that bites her flesh, a plain white dress, symbol of mourning, clinging to her emaciated frame as guards shove her toward the cart. No toilette for the fallen queen. Humiliation lingers from trial's sexual scars, whispers of her incestuous sins still echoing as 500 soldiers escort her through Paris streets, lined with 20,000 jeering faces, hurling filth. Whore! Austrian bitch! Your son's seed stains your soul! The tumbril rattles over cobblestones to Place de la Révolution. Drums pounding a death march under Liberty's mocking statue, crowds surging like wolves. Women knit, men spit, children mimic the blade's whoosh. She mounts the scaffold, eyes fixed heavenward, accidentally treading on executioner Sanson's foot. In her last breath of grace, she murmurs, "Pardon me, sir. I meant not to do it." At 12:15 p.m., the guillotine claims her. Blade slices clean, head falls into a basket. Blood sprays as Sanson parades it by the hair, lips still moving in silent prayer amid ecstatic roars. Her body stripped naked for verification, tossed into a mass grave at Madeleine Cemetery. Lime poured over, unmarked, royal dignity erased in anonymous dirt. From opulent Versailles to forgotten pit, the Queen's humanity is pulverized, a symbol of revolution's savage erasure. Suspense resolves in finality. The blade falls, but her ghost haunts history's bloodied pages. Marie Antoinette's arc, from Versailles' gilded revels, where champagne flowed like rivers, to Conciergerie's filth and the guillotine's merciless kiss, unveils a tragedy forged in opulence's blind excess and revolution's feral rage. Falsehoods, like the coerced incest tales, spewed by her broken son under Hebert's whip, weren't mere smears. They were erotic daggers, psychological flaying to pulverize a queen's soul before steel did her body. Imprisonment's slow poison, family ripped away, Simon's re-education, twisting Louis Charles into a hollow shell, crushed her humanity amid chants of Madame Deficit. The emotional abyss deepens. Picture her final gaze skyward, white gown bloodied, stepping unwittingly on Sanson's boot, with a whispered, "Pardon," grace amid savagery. Separated forever from Marie-Thérèse, exiled to Austria, and Louis Charles, dying neglected at 10 in 1795. Their fates echo her erased grave, lime-doused in anonymity, until 1815's exhumation restored fragile honor. Degradation's weight, mocked bodily functions spied upon, sexual venom weaponized, strips illusions, revealing a woman's raw terror beneath the crown. Her execution ignited the reign of terror's inferno, 17,000 heads rolling in 10 bloody months, yet birthed enduring myth, martyr to some, scapegoat to others, fueling romantic art, novels, and modern films that probe her vilified allure. Amid political maelstrom, her story endures, a queen's lost humanity, cautionary thunder against mobs devouring their own. The blade silenced her, but echoes resound. Revolution devours its children. The saga ends here's chapters of raw suspense, shocking betrayals, and a queen's humanity crushed under revolutionary fury, from Tuileries' blood to unmarked grave. You've witnessed the carnation's doomed whisper, coerced incest lies as sexual weaponry, and her graceful pardon before the blade. Legacy echoes. Her execution fueled the reign of terror's 17,000 deaths, toppling monarchy for republicanism, yet birthing a cultural icon in art, films like Coppola's, and fashion myths, extravagance's cautionary ghost. If this gripped you, subscribe now for more history's darkest twists. Hit notifications, comment, Guillotine's grace below, and share the blade's shadow. The revolution never ends. What's next?